Are we live? Welcome to Discussing Fitchburg Now. Thanks for watching. We are at Fitchburg Access Television here in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. You are watching this from the Workers Credit Union studios here at FATV, and you are watching Discussing Fitchburg Now. There it is, Discussing Fitchburg Now with me, Sam Squailia. So this week's show, we are talking with Bill Williams from the Fitchburg Military Band about the Fitchburg Military Band concerts that are happening at Coggeshall Park. We are talking with Pastor Daniel from the Emanuel Lutheran Church on John Fitch Highway about their new fantastic organ and the renovations to their church and everything that's going on in the church. And then we are also talking with the Pastor Dale from Pilgrim Covenant Church in Lunenburg about everything that's going on in the Pilgrim Covenant Church. All right, so make sure to stick around and check that out after we take short little breaks. All right, so up now, I have the conductor of the Fitchburg Military Band, William Williams.
Yeah.
Bill, as I like to refer to you.
I like that better too
myself.
myself.
All right, great. Well, thank you for coming on, Bill.
Well, thanks for having me.
And so the Fitchburg Military Band is doing their summer concert series at Coggeshall Park, as they usually do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We have 3 concerts. One of them is passed 2 Sundays ago. And we have 2 more coming up. One is on the 21st, and the other one is on the 28th. And we play from the porch of the Stone House at Coggeshall, and there's always a nice cool breeze up there, and we just have a great time. It's a wonderful place to play. My musicians, to a person, rave about the place itself. It's just, the acoustics are wonderful. The view is spectacular. You know, I'm sure one of the best places for a concert in the area, certainly. You know.
Oh yeah, so Coggeshall Park is a gem in the city of Fitchburg.
Yeah.
And when you play from the balcony of the Stone House, the music really reverberates over the water, and you can really hear it all around.
Yeah, yeah. One of the caretakers who opens up the place for me says that his kid lives somewhere up on, what is that? I don't know what the road is, but way up, like 1.5 miles away. And while the concert is going on, they sit on his porch and they drink beer and have a good time, and they hear it perfectly well. There's something I think about the water. It kind of bounces off the water or something. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, the sound travels easily over water.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's. I'm very glad to be there. You know.
And part of the long and storied history of the Fitchburg Military Band. I have some old images of the Fitchburg Military Band, Jared. Could you throw some of those up? There's one. Oh, this is a good one. So, Bill, can you tell us about this image?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones. It was 1868, I believe. And we were, that's the Upper Common in Fitchburg, and we were playing for the arrival of the Civil War soldiers as they were coming back to Fitchburg.
Wow.
And obviously it's a community organization or celebration, and we supplied some of the music for them. Because we actually did, our birth was from they called them the Fitchburg Fusillers, which were the soldiers.
The Fusiliers.
The Fusiliers.
So the soldiers that played music to keep morale up for the other soldiers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, actually, we started, the band in its infancy started in 1861, pre-Civil War, but it was not an organized thing. There were just a bunch of guys that got together and had drums and bugles and that sort of thing. And then in 1868, they actually did form the Fitchburg Military. That's where the military part of it comes in. We're no longer a real military band at all, although we do have some veterans that are playing with us.
Right.
So that's.
And it's that heir to history.
Yeah, yeah. This is formally our 154th year.
154 years.
Yeah, and I don't feel a day older than.
Not a day older than 153.
Yeah.
Then you have been the conductor of the Fitchburg Military Band for, is it 10 years now?
It's going on 10 years, yeah. The gentleman that I took the place of was Carlton Thorne, who was the director of music at Fitchburg High School since 1968. 1963, and he was a long-time player, musician himself, and he took over the job from somebody, I don't know who, and was the conductor for 45 years. So almost 1/3 of our history, not quite, but almost 1/3 of our history was a result of that man's dedication to the band and to the city of Fitchburg.
And you took over for him?
I took over for him, yeah.
And his daughter still plays in the Fitchburg Military Band?
Susan still plays with the Fitchburg Military. I'm guessing that she has been a member, and again, this is just a guess, probably 40 years,
wow.
45 years, something like that. So the roots run very deep in the organization itself. I have one gentleman friend who, when he was a kid in the 50s, was playing as a result of his grandfather playing, and he only was playing the bass drum, but he is still kind of an active follower, and he comes up for one of the concerts every year. And actually he played, we had one concert at Stanley Park in West Fitchburg a number of years ago when they had their, I don't know, it's a homecoming or
I think we have a picture of the Stanley Park concert. Yeah.
No.
That's you, the ladybug.
Yeah,
I liked that one. Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
see, it's the Stanley Park gazebo.
Yeah, there it is there.
This was in 2016.
Yeah. So that's,
is it Stanley Park?
No, I don't think that is.
Now that I'm looking at it, I thought it was.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Oh,
Because
well,
I believe that was Carl Thorne.
Well, here's an image of where you play now anyway,
Yep.
which is the stone house at Coggeshall Park, which is right on Electric Ave.
Yeah, just off of Electric Ave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can we pull up the flyer on the main screen, Jared, and we can just talk about when you can go see the Fitchburg Military Band next. So it is, these concerts are live and in person, Sunday 8/21, so August 21st, and Sunday August 28th at 2 p.m. at the Coggeshall Park.
Yep.
And these are free concerts. They last about an hour and a half, 2 to 3:30. Mm-hmm. And you can bring your own chairs, or you could sit on the wall, or sit on the grass, or sit at the picnic tables. Bring a lunch, or just sit and enjoy the show.
Yeah, it's a comfortable place to catch a concert, you know. And these musicians are all, well, I won't say they're world class necessarily, but for example, one of our players was responsible for the closing of Boston Garden before it was renovated.
Oh,
he
yeah?
did the music and stuff for that.
Cool.
I have members that played with the Jimmy Dorsey Orchestra and a whole bunch of the real biggies. You know, people who have backed. You name it. All of the top ones, including some of the older generation. You know, the Sinatras and people like that. So. You know, they're not chopped liver. They all play pretty well.
Yeah, and I know. I think it was for your 150th year, you did a special music score or a special grouping of music written by someone special.
Yeah, we commissioned a man named David Schaefer, who is he is a world-class composer, who came to Fitchburg. I told him what we wanted for our 150th anniversary. And so he came and he snooped around a little bit, and he saw the rock, Rollstone Boulder, and the history behind the Nashua River, and came up with a piece of music specifically for Fitchburg that represents, there are 5 different movements. The first one being, and I forget exactly what he called it, but it was before any development, where the rock was up on the hill and was actually a beacon for the Native Americans they knew where to come. And then the second one has to do with the military aspect of it, with our patriotism and our contribution to the country. And the third one, and this is something that is mind-boggling to me, is our place in the Industrial Revolution. Fitchburg was a powerhouse with everyone from Ivor Johnson's, I actually worked there for a while, through obviously the paper mills, woolen mills, and making paper bags, and just every possible thing. A lot of inventors, the drill for the Hoosick Tunnel, and all of those things came from Fitchburg.
We were pioneers, and we still are.
Yeah, and the fourth movement of the five, unfortunately, but factually, was the decline, which happened throughout New England, in mill towns.
As the Industrial Revolution started to wane.
Yeah, it went, partly as a result of the automobile and people being more mobile, and there are a whole bunch of reasons.
Television.
Well, in my lifetime, the biggest hit that I remember was GE closing. And
in the 90s.
Boom! It was gone. It was like a ghost town, sort of.
Yeah, but so this score kind of represented Fitchburg, and it was specifically created just for us for our 150th anniversary.
That's right. And the final one, and I think probably the most important one, is the rebirth of the city. And you can see it. You are part of that.
The rebirth.
The once and future great city of Fitchburg, and it's all represented orally with that score that David Schaefer wrote, and I'm very proud of it. We played it last week, as a matter of fact. So it's something that I want to keep alive, and hopefully will become a bit of a tradition.
So that's a good segue into what music will we be listening to at the last two concerts at Coggeshall Park.
All right. Well. I was snooping around last Sunday, and I went to Coggeshall for the concert that was
the Neurotic Gumbo,
and they're fantastic. Yeah. They're a fantastic group, great musicians, and I couldn't find a parking place, so I just drove through. But when I did, I noticed. I mean, there were hundreds of people around, because they did have food trucks and other things. We don't have that. We don't get that big a crowd, to be honest with you. But I started to think that, in a way, we're a bit of a dying breed of people, because some of the literature that we play is traditional stuff, stuff that was written specifically for military bands, as opposed to an orchestra, let's say, or something like that. And I think that's a tradition that I want to keep hold of, and yet it's important to at least get into the 20th century. And so I've got to mention Abishan Hardware gave us a grant for new music.
Ooh.
All right, and so and it was a sizable grant, and so I had the fun job of being the kid in the candy shop, kind of, and looking for new music. And so next Sunday, people are going to start hearing some of this newer material. It's hard to come up with something that isn't a one-time shot. Mm. In other words, I could come up with popular stuff right now, and next week nobody's going to know what the song was, because it changes so fast. So one of the numbers that, one of the medleys that I bought right away was a medley of the Blues Brothers.
Ah.
Okay, and there are four different.
My dad loves the Blues Brothers.
Oh man, I'll tell you, and it's a hot arrangement. People are going to really enjoy that, and it's something that 10 years from now someone will still be able to play that, because I think that's kind of a timeless thing. Making a bit of a connection with the past, I'm doing a medley from The Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah,
right,
another
so,
timeless Another timeless piece?
Well, I'm pairing that with music from Wicked.
Oh, cool.
So we've got both ends. We're 1939 and current day. So that's another one of the things that that we're planning for Sunday. I have a Bernstein tribute, which is again kind of a little bit more serious music, but it has numbers from West Side Story and let's see, music from Our Town and the overture to Candide, and it's just a wonderful piece of music. So, and I kind of threw that in for my musicians who, I don't know how to say this exactly. Blues Brothers is fun to play. It's wonderful, and my musicians will play it very well, I'm sure. It's not the most challenging in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Bernstein, they have to work a little bit, but that's where the fun is. The challenge of being able to do that. So that's one that we're doing as well. There's a diversity that I try to hit as many cultures as possible. We're doing one called Mambo Greats, which has, I think, 4 numbers in it. They're all, they were written by a guy named Perez Prado, who back in the 1950s, he was a Cuban-American piano player and musician, band leader. And you may not know the titles of these numbers, but you will have heard them, I think. If you've done any dabbling at all in kind of older big band type of music. So we're doing that as well. And I've got notes in front of me because I knew I couldn't remember everything. Oh yeah. A real stretch for me, because it's a pain in the neck to conduct, is Suite from World of Warcraft.
Okay. All right.
And musically, people can play the notes. That's not the problem. But the counting, the timing of it,
makes it complicated.
It makes it very complicated. Yeah. Everybody has 2 feet, so 2 and 4 are easy. All right. This is.
But 3 and 5 is tougher?
3 and 5, and this is a 7.
Ooh.
So it's 2 3s, 2 4s, but they don't. It's just a pain in the neck.
It's too complicated for me, Bill.
It's a pain in the neck.
I'll just listen.
Yeah. But it's a wonderful piece of music, and that kind of may lead into a part of our funding. First off, the Cultural Council is always there for us, and so I need to thank them as well as Abishan. And there's this group from New York called the Music Performance Trust Fund. And every bit they've negotiated with the record producers and movie producers and now software producers to take a little chunk of money from, because there are musicians that have written the music, have performed the music, and these few pennies, every time somebody buys a CD or now a vinyl is coming back, or whatever you have, whatever the medium, streaming. If you subscribe to Sirius Radio, look on your bill and you will see, $1.50 or something like that, which goes to this big fund. And at the end of the year, the Music Performance Trust Fund adds up all their pennies, and they look around both Canada and the United States, and they see nonprofits who are giving free public live concerts, and they say, gee, the Fitchburg Military Band deserves some sponsorship, and so they give us some money as a result to basically pay the musicians, so that's where the
and we appreciate all the support, and we appreciate the military band for playing for us and providing these free concerts to the Fitchburg community and beyond, open to all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we put up the flyer one more time so we can all remember? So this is the Fitchburg Military Band. They are playing at Coggeshall Park in Fitchburg Sunday, August 21st and Sunday, August 28th at 2 p.m. There's going to be different music played at each show, so you want to attend both. But if you can only reach one, then at least come to one, because you got to check it out. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Right, Bill?
I think so.
All right.
I think so, yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.
And we'll see you Sunday at Coggeshall Park.
Great, great.
All right. And I hope to see you there, too. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back with Pastor Daniel from Emanuel Lutheran Church.
Forces the turnover, shoots, scores!
Oh, you're gonna use a fork? I was just gonna pick it up and eat it.
Well, some of us are more classy than others, Alex.
Oh, well, you know.
A lot of hope to see that, the next generation, before they even leave high school, that they're so invested in the community.
And a special thank you to FATV, who made this broadcast possible. Hello, I'm Scott May, and this is North Central Journal. Our topic for discussion this month is a nonprofit organization. It's called Dress a Girl Around the World.
Dress a Girl Around the World's mission is quite simple. It's the idea that every young girl deserves to get a brand new dress at least once in her life. And this dress is to provide her with dignity, it's to provide her with respect, to show her that there's somebody in this world that is looking out for her and cares for her. So the mission is quite simple. Getting the girls the dresses, that's another thing altogether.
It's hard to articulate without feeling very emotional about this, but helping girls, women around the world is so gratifying. We all grew up as, the three of us, we grew up as women. We know what it's like to have difficult times, but we have nothing compared to what these children grow into as young adults.
For the whole organization, it's been well over 2 million dresses.
Wow.
Locally, we've done probably now close to 7,000, 7,200 dresses in the last couple of years. We made a goal of 2020 to make 2,020 dresses, and we exceeded that goal.
Hello, welcome back to Discussing Fitchburg Now. On with me now, I have Pastor Daniel from the Emanuel Lutheran Church, right on John Fitch Highway. Thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's good to be here. Talk about our new organ and what's going on.
Your new, very fancy organ.
That's right.
Yes. And this is part of this. So the new organ, which you can see right here, is part of a renovation to your sanctuary that was due to fire and smoke damage.
That's correct.
That happened a couple years ago.
In 2020, the infamous year, we had a fire in the sanctuary that actually started in our old organ. Shorted. There was an electrical storm the night before, and there's a transformer inside of the organ that takes the power that comes into the building and transforms it, so the organ doesn't require nearly as much power to work. And it shorted, and so over the course of a couple of hours, the internal workings of the old organ console smoldered, and then it came out of the top, and then we had a fire in the organ console that destroyed the organ console, and thank God the sprinkler system worked. I can't say enough good about the sprinkler system. You can actually see the sprinkler system here in the picture.
Yeah. Running along the wood beams here.
We say sometimes it looks like you're inside of a submarine, but it was that wonderful sprinkler system that actually truly saved the church. But
that's what they're there for.
That's right.
To save the structure.
I can't say enough good about the sprinkler system, but also the fire company. They were able to save the stained glass windows.
Nice.
We have our wonderful stained glass windows were saved. We had tremendous water damage in the sanctuary. Everything was gutted, but not from fire, but from water and smoke damage throughout the entire building. So what you see here is all new renovation, and of course our wonderful organ.
Yes. So, and the organ was built by, who was Patrick Murphy?
Patrick J. Murphy and Associates out of Stowe, Pennsylvania. This is their 69th new construction that they've done, so from the ground up. So it's called Patrick Murphy Opus 69, and this organ represents that. The casework, which you see here in the front, is done by a gentleman, an organ designer named Proulx. He's a renowned organ designer, and so he did the casework design. He was friends with Patrick.
And when you say casework, do you mean the pipes here, or the pipes and the wood things?
These places where the pipes are setting. All of this requires design work. An artist designs this, but the entire construction is the case. So what we see here in the front are the facade pipes of the organ, and they're voiced, or they sound. So when you play a key or you press a pedal, air goes through those pipes and sound comes out. So these are not just simply facade pipes, they're voiced facade pipes. But the vast majority of the voiced part of the organ is inside of what's the box, and the box is all behind this casework.
And we have some pictures of the inside of the box from the Emanuel Lutheran Facebook page. Can we show some of those pictures? Look at how cool, look at how huge this box is, and all of these different pipes that make all of the different sounds.
Yes.
Or pitches, I guess.
Yes, so each one of these sets, there are different ranks within that have different numbers of pipes, and they correspond to stops on the organs. You've ever heard the expression, pull out all the stops?
Pull out all the stops, that's an organ reference?
That's an organ reference, yes. Pulling out all the stops means to make it big. And so when you pull out all the stops, you press all the buttons on the organ, that makes the organ completely sounded. Exactly. So that's to pull out all the stops. So all of these pipes would sound on full organ with all of the stops pulled. So that's where that expression comes.
And what are these made out of? Are these stainless steel?
Some of them are tin, some of them are steel, yes, and then there are some also, we have some brass. You saw the brass pipes.
The brass are the facing.
And then these pipes here are wood.
Facade
the
pipes?
Facade pipes have some brass.
And there's wood pipes?
Wood pipes. Those are called reed. Those are the reed stops. They make a reed sound, like a bassoon or flute or so forth. So
I bet you've learned so much about organs that you're like an organ expert.
Well, I'm not an expert by any means. I know just enough to be dangerous. You can ask our organist, Marcia Sharkey. She'll tell you I know just enough to be very dangerous. But yes, so you see all these.
What are these little wood things, these little spindle
things? Those are just
things?
handles to pull them out. They just sit in there. You see these holes here?
Yeah.
They just sit. The pipes just sit in there, and the air blows up through them. We have a mechanized action now. It used to be a pneumatic action so that each pipe had a valve that would open up and the air would come from the underneath in the wind chests is
It
what
used
these
to
are
be
called.
pneumatic with air.
That's correct.
And now it's mechanical, so.
Now there's every stop there are these long metal sliders that come out, so they're sliding wood chests instead of mechanical action. It's very interesting and very fascinating. If we go up onto the organ shelf, you can see there's what's called a relay box, and on that relay box there's many LED lights. So it's old school technology. Organs are very medieval technology even, but now we bring in LEDs and these fiber optic cables that run from the console. The console's where the keyboards or the manuals are, and the pedal board down below for your feet. Just one single fiber optic cable, smaller than an old school telephone cable, runs all of the information up into the relay box and then translates it into usable information for the pipes.
Thousands of different sounds.
Exactly.
Isn't that amazing?
It is.
And the organist, there's not just an organ on the top. There's there's like an organ for your feet.
That's correct.
There's like a keyboard for your hands and a keyboard for your feet.
Right.
And there's special shoes that you wear.
That's right.
To play the keyboard for your feet.
Yes, or some organists anyhow wear organ shoes or play barefoot, and that way they can grasp the pedals more easily.
They got good toes.
Yeah, exactly.
And here's a good image of the renovated sanctuary and the new organ in place. I mean, the new sanctuary is so pretty with all the individual little chairs.
This was actually, you can actually see here the ladder to get up to the organ shelf. This was during the final voicing, whenever Patrick Murphy came. Patrick Murphy himself came, sat here with his transportable keyboard, and they tested every pipe.
Good.
They tested every pipe. That's right.
The special number 69.
That's right. That's right.
Nice. And we were featured in the American Organist magazine, the premier magazine
worldwide,
for organ
actually.
Enthusiasts.
Yes, if you would say organist, choral music, and so forth. Our organ is featured in the back.
There it is. We have it on the screen here.
Look at that. Absolutely.
There we go. We're on the back cover there.
So
that's Fitchburg's Emanuel Lutheran Church.
And that's
Opus 69. Two manual, 20 ranks. What does that mean, two manual?
So if you see in the picture to the bottom right,
this is our organ?
The manuals are the keyboards that are played with your hands.
Yeah.
Something that's done manually is done with your hands. And it doesn't say, of course, the pedal board, but the pedal board, pedals on your bicycle or whatever for your feet. So we have two manuals, two keyboards. Some organs have three. Here, the upper manual is called the swell, the bottom manual is called the great, some organs the third manual is called the choir manual, and then we have the pedal board down below.
And what's a rank?
A rank is a set of pipes that have a particular pitch or timbre. So it would correspond to whether you see the stops that are up above there. There's a little
What are the stops?
The stops are the little white buttons at the top. Yeah. Yes. So depending on how they're arranged, that'll engage certain ranks of the organ.
So you can pull out all the stops and engage 20 ranks of pipes.
That's correct. Yes.
I'm getting dangerous.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Before long, you'll be writing an opus.
Opus 70.
Opus 70, yes.
So the new organ is functional now.
Oh, it's fully functional. We haven't dedicated it yet. So the dedication of our organ will be on November 13th. And look, Noah scolded the chickens in the ark for saying foul things.
Yeah, here's a picture of the outside of the church, so you know what church we're talking about. This is the Emanuel Lutheran Church. That's right on John Fitch Highway, right on the way to Pearl Hill Road to Elliott Field, Fitchburg State University, Wallace Civic Center, right there.
That's what I always say. It's between the Civic Center and Sizer School.
Yes.
Yes, 1200 John Fitch Highway. And this sign demonstrates my humor. Noah scolded the chickens on the ark for saying foul things. Exactly. So who doesn't love a punny guy, right? So yeah, that's our beautiful church.
Yes.
Our absolutely gorgeous. But as I was saying, our organ dedication will be on November 13th. We'll be dedicating it during worship at 10 a.m. during worship.
This is a Sunday?
That's a Sunday, and it is yet to be determined, but it will be an early or a late afternoon, early evening organ recital or concert. And the same gentleman, Dr. Michael Krentz, who helped shepherd us through as the outside consultant through the process of securing our organ builder and so forth. He's an accomplished organist, and he will be playing for worship that morning, which is open to anyone. Worship's always open to anyone, and the concert, of course, will be open to anyone, which will be more of a recital. The dedication will happen during worship, and we're having afterward, we're calling our cocktail hour, and we're going to have it's cocktails and fruit cocktail and all these different things that have, say, cocktail in it to celebrate afterwards. So open to the community, and we really want to showcase this wonderful blessing that we have that came out of our fire in a true sense.
The phoenix that rose from the ashes.
It's absolutely, that is a phenomenal way of describing it. Something good that came out of it, new life. We want to continue to have organ concerts and so forth for the community. So I would say just keep your eyes peeled for that. Hopefully you can promote that somehow on the Facebook page
we
that
would
you have.
love to promote.
So I know, right? Who doesn't
That's
like to
what we
promote?
do here. We promote the good things.
Music is a wonderful way to speak to the soul and gives expression to what the soul is feeling in both joy and sorrow, and sometimes at the same time, joy and sorrow. A founder of our denomination, Martin Luther, he would probably roll over in his grave hearing me say he was the founder of our denomination, but he's known for having said that the one who sings prays twice. And so music is very central to the identity of us as Lutheran Christians. I'd like to say that it's a central identity for all Christians, but it's a way for us to give expression to the emotions sometimes that we can't otherwise give expression to. And then also musicians that play instruments and so forth, they also help invite us into that contemplative place. So
and there's preaching to the choir, there's speaking with voice and with words, but there's another language that you're speaking to when you're speaking with music.
That's correct.
And
yes.
it's something that sometimes you don't understand words, but you can't express something with words, but you can express different emotions or feelings or thoughts with music that you can't necessarily do that with words.
And that is the beauty of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is the beauty of it.
It's just more ways to express, to show expression and to connect, and even in an artistic way,
Oh, music is true art. Yeah. It is a true art. And anyone and everyone can sing. Anyone that says they can't sing, I challenge them on that. And
I can sing in my car alone.
That's right. And there's always a place in the choir for everyone's voice. And I'm always thrilled to hear.
Yeah, when I visited, last year, there was a very large choir at the Emanuel Lutheran.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean that there's always a place in our choir for every voice as well. But I mean just in general too. There's always a place for
the proverbial choir.
The proverbial choir. But there's always a place for you to give expression to that in music, and I think that's an absolutely phenomenally beautiful thing that music helps give expression to something deep within us that, as you said, words don't necessarily always convey.
Yeah, and sometimes you can misinterpret words, but music is hard to misinterpret that.
There's a certain level of individuality of that interpretation as well that is important. And depending on where you are in your own life's journey, you might hear the same piece of music in a different way than what you did before, or what you might hear it later in life as well.
It's very personal.
Exactly.
Yeah. But we can the organ dedication, the official organ dedication is Sunday, November 13th.
That's correct.
At 10 a.m. But if we come before then, can we hear the organ
absolutely.
too?
You can hear the organ this weekend.
Preview.
You can hear the organ this Sunday. We're using it already. We were not allowed to use the organ until it was that you saw the picture of the final voicing.
Tuned.
Exactly.
Oh, it was voiced.
Voicing, yes, that's what they call that. we were not allowed to use it officially publicly until after it had been voiced officially, finalized, signed off on by the builder, by Patrick J. Murphy. But we have been using it every Sunday since, and so we are enjoying our organ.
And yeah, there was a video of the organ being played on the Facebook page. If you go to Emanuel Lutheran Church Fitchburg MA, or at Emanuel Fitchburg on Facebook, then there's a video of it.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't know it offhand. I'm sorry.
Well, I got you.
Okay. You link us up. You can connect us.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a video, and I'm happy to upload that to our YouTube page as well. Oh, which also I could say you could, if you're unable to attend our worship services in person, we do live stream our worship service every Sunday at 10 o'clock as well. So
where is it live streamed?
It's through our YouTube channel.
So there's an Emanuel Lutheran Church on Fitchburg YouTube channel.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
Because we're still grappling with the
the
pandemic.
reality of the pandemic is still a reality for many. This past week, actually, we had a depressed attendance because there were several folks that were still.
And I know my grandmother always loved to watch church on TV. Yep. So. That's a very nice option to have.
It is, and it provides an opportunity. We have people that are all over the country. I know that I have family who are in Great Britain that have from time to time tuned in and watched worship service. So all over the world is able to watch worship when it happens through the marvels of modern technology.
Yeah, and there's a history with the Emanuel Lutheran Church. I know Bill Williams from the Fitchburg Military Band was saying, "Oh, Emanuel Lutheran, I was married there."
That's right.
Yeah.
That was as we were saying before the show. That was at the old Caldwell location. So where we currently are at 1200 John Fitch Highway, that's a new construction to the 70s. But the Caldwell location. Part of the pipe work in our organ that we have now was at Caldwell Place.
Really?
That's correct, yes. So we were able to salvage the pipe work from our old organ, which is a nice homage, yes, to the past. So it's a brand new instrument. We have this brand new instrument, this gorgeous instrument. But to look up there and to know those are still our old pipes, and those were the pipes that were with us before, and those are the pipes that helped.
Had been with us for 100 years.
Exactly,
or
yeah.
80 years.
Well, I gotta confess, I don't actually know how old Emanuel Lutheran Church is, but at least since the 70s. Whenever it came from Caldwell Place. Marcia learned to play the organ at the previous church. I don't think that Emanuel, our current iteration of Emanuel, was a consolidation between St. Paul's and Emanuel Lutheran Church. And I believe that Marcia was a member at St. Paul's. And I believe that she learned to play organ at St. Paul's. And I believe that some of the pipes from St. Paul's, don't quote me, Marcia, on this, but I believe that some of the pipes came from St. Paul's as well. So I sometimes lovingly called the old organ a Franken organ because it was put together from these different organs. But we have the history of Emanuel is embedded in this instrument.
Yeah, and that makes a beautiful sound.
It does.
And so you'll be able to see that if you go to the Sunday worships at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
that are open to all.
That's right. And we mean that too. Everyone is welcome.
Come as you are.
Exactly. Come as you are, who you are.
I like it. Thank you so much, Pastor Daniel from Emanuel Lutheran Church at 1200 John Fitch Highway. And thank you for watching. We're going to take a short break. And then we're going to be back with Pastor Dale from the Pilgrim Covenant Church in Lunenburg.
Excellent opening move. We played this.
Opening lines for the Bishop and the Queen.
10-year-old Alice Lee. Let's see a photo of Alice Lee.
So she plays H3.
Okay.
And we were thinking that mainly it's to make Luft, they call it.
Luft.
German for air.
At the age 8, he was also able to play blindfold, but most of his exhibitions were where he had sight of the board.
Right.
And he usually played between 15 and 20 plays. Yes, I think taking with the Queen. How did Carissa respond to Bishop C4?
She plays Knight F6, attacking. Jennifer's.
I remember when.
Fitchburg was the smallest town in the area, but by 1835, it had grown to be the largest town. By 1840 and 50, most Fitchburg residents had become abolitionists. Another early industry in Fitchburg that still continues today is scythe making. Women used to have to spin yarn and weave cloth themselves, but now it was being made in factories, cutting down and exporting its wood to build cities up and down the East Coast, and of course, for making paper. Starting in the 1800s, the population becomes much more diverse. Fitchburg Machine Works expanded widely.
After World War II, Main Street was lively.
Welcome back to Discussing Fitchburg Now. I have Pastor Dale from the Pilgrim Covenant Church in Lunenburg.
Yes, hello Sam.
How you doing?
Good. We met fairly recently, so nice to be invited to be on your show.
Yes, yes. Dale came up to me during the Civic Days and he's like, "Hi,
Yes.
I'm the pastor of the church." And I said, "Wonderful to meet you," and here we are.
Yes, that was our first time meeting in person.
Yes, yes, and now we're Facebook friends.
Yes.
Are we Facebook friends?
We
I think
are.
We're Facebook friends.
Yes, because I had asked about joining the Facebook group and you let me in as an admin. Promptly, you promptly let me in.
Yep,
You're
the
very
Discussing
responsive.
Fitchburg Now Facebook group, where everything and anything that's happening in Fitchburg is happening.
Yes.
And you'll know about. Yes. So the Pilgrim Covenant Church is located in Lunenburg.
Yeah.
And we have this. We have a few pictures. This is a nice picture of the outside of it. It's very open and
That's really the high
It's really it's a beautiful interior.
Thank you. Yeah, we're at the corner of Chase and Beale Street in Lunenburg, and usually when I tell people, which people don't tend to know, like, well, where's your church? Which church is it? They know when I then tell them the glass in the front of the church.
The A-frame with the glass. Oh, that one.
They're like, oh yes, I know what church is your church.
Yes, and while we're talking about the structure of the church, can we show a picture of the inside? It was recently renovated, and I swiped some pictures from Dale's Facebook. Yes, that one. Can we put that on the big screen? There we go.
Yeah, so this building was built in 1964.
Yeah.
We had been originally in the Upper Common in Fitchburg, starting in 1891.
Where the New Players Theater Guild church theater is.
So I was excited to go to one of their performances to get to be in the original church, and kind of imagining what it must have been like when that was the church home. So in '64 they'd moved out to have more land where you could have a parking lot, built the parsonage on it. But the carpet, that's an older, you can see kind of the before and after.
Oh yeah,
so
the after.
Yeah, so the carpet was from
much more modern.
1964. 58 years old.
That lasted.
So
it looked really
held
good.
up
I
really
thought it was
well,
new.
considering how old it was.
Yeah.
But we decided to try to redo the sanctuary. We put in a new cross, new steps, new carpet.
It's a really beautiful and airy space. That the all glass really gives it such a nice feel.
So one of my pastor friends, when I had shared pictures, said, "Oh, well, you should have like the church reversed."
Yeah.
But my wife said, "Oh yeah, I didn't realize that's your view whenever you're leading worship."
Yeah, I get
that view.
Yeah,
I get the good view.
You get the good view. So the Pilgrim Covenant Church, that's part of the Churches Unite.
Yes, we are part of the Churches Unite. So I had just started as the pastor of the church a year and a half ago, and I had been a pastor for 13 years in Ashburnham, and I loved over 13 years really getting to be part of the community. And so I was eager to be in another community, hoping for another long pastorate and getting, so I'm on the housing authority in Lunenburg.
Oh, nice.
And doing other things with the other churches in Fitchburg, and also working with campus ambassadors, volunteering at Fitchburg State, leading a Bible study. I'm a Lion, in Lunenburg, which the Lions are very involved. So I was just really eager to be involved in the community in a variety of ways, because that was what I liked about having a long pastorate in Ashburnham.
Wow, that's one big thing I like about being here involved in Fitchburg too, is being part of the community. I like to get involved in everything I can.
I can tell that, which is wonderful,
Yes.
that you're so involved.
And I appreciate all the effort you put in as well. And so the Churches Unite event, there's like 5
Yeah, we have
churches?
probably 5 core churches in the leadership. We're very open for more joining us, but that was kind of the core that started. But we probably have anywhere then from 8 to 10 churches that'll participate, in events. And we, again, are open to more churches being part of that planning process. But for example, we had done a prayer meeting each Wednesday night in 4 of the churches over the month of July. So Horizon and Elm Street and Highland Baptist and then Pilgrim Covenant Church. And we decided to keep it going like as a monthly joint prayer meeting, praying for our community, praying for our country, praying for the church, kind of just open-ended prayer. But I know the Church of the Nazarene is now joining in as well.
On South Street.
Yep, and Pastor Arthur from the Haitian Church, they will also be joining.
Where's the Haitian Church? Is that on South Street too?
I haven't been in their building. Are they on Battelle or no? I know there's like the other church on Battelle. I do a pastor's group with Pastor Arthur.
The Christian Church with the Jewish
that
heart
one's there.
is on Battelle.
But I guess I'd have to look up again where I have not been in his church yet. He's been there a long time because he also pastors a church in Waltham. We do a small pastors group together, but we meet at Elm Street. So I haven't been to the Haitian church yet, but I will get to go there, with doing the prayer group there.
I learned about Churches Unite with Pastor Johnny Ailman.
Very good.
And he said that the next one is September 11th at the Highland Baptist.
At the Highland Baptist from 6 to 7
When's
p.m.
the next one going to be at Pilgrim Covenant?
So we will host the one in October, so the second Sunday in October. And I'll get to do it in the sanctuary. So we were under,
the brand new
we were under
sanctuary?
renovations in July. So we kind of did it in our basement where we set up a temporary worship space, which was good with the heat. But obviously it was nice Sunday to be back worshiping in our sanctuary.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I bet. With that view. So you can follow the Churches Unite Facebook page, and you also share it on the Pilgrim Covenant
and it's on Facebook. Yeah, Pastor George's daughter, Kana, kind of really maintains our...
What's his name?
Pastor George is from Horizon.
Pastor George Small.
And his daughter, Kana, is very involved and kind of does the social media for us on Facebook. So there's a City Unite.
It's well done.
Yes. Yeah, have someone young do that for you.
And so the red image of the Jared, that red image there. Can you pull that up on the main screen? If you go to the Facebook, if you go to Pilgrim Covenant Church on Facebook, this is their main profile. So this is what you'll see, right? Or at least it's currently the profile photo. So you can check out what Pilgrim Covenant Church is doing in Lunenburg and when events are happening and that kind of thing. So what does the Pilgrim Covenant Church do with the community and within the church?
One thing that we do that's been really exciting is there was a group in my church that bought a property in New Ipswich that had been a former nunnery. So the nuns lived there and they were aging and getting elderly, like they were 85 to 88, and they ran it like as a retreat center. So it's like 8,600 square feet, and it's got like 20 bedrooms and 8 bathrooms, and then there's a 1,000 square foot 3-bedroom caretaker's house right next to it. And so we're looking to partner with other ministries, as the owner of the building property and volunteer in those ministries. And so we partnered with Park Street Congregational Church out of Boston, which is this very large historic church. But they had Muslim Afghanistan refugees that they had in our program temporarily until they got into permanent apartments. During the recent, with everything happening in Afghanistan. Yeah, and it was really great to really get to form relationships. And they were very hospitable. So if you went, you had to sit down for a meal and tea. But it was a really great cross-cultural experience. And they had lots and lots of questions because they're, what jobs are here? How do you get a mortgage? What do different jobs pay? What's it like to live in Boston or Worcester? They had lots and lots of questions because they really wanted to be successful in their, in their new country and in the new culture. And we're looking then to partner with a ministry starting next year that would really help women and children. Kind of in southern New Hampshire, there's not a lot of programs across southern New Hampshire for women and children. And so that's kind of one of the needs we've identified as we've kind of networked on, what are the needs in that region. And a lot of people have said there's not really a lot of sort of short-term / long-term temporary housing, before people then get into permanent housing.
Oh, yeah, so like family supportive transitional housing.
Right, exactly, like transitional housing.
We have, like the North Star Family Shelter.
Right.
That used to be the interfaith.
Hospitality Network.
Yes.
Yeah, before I had worked with homeless veterans in Worcester, and so do have experience with that kind of work. Like that was a transitional program where veterans could stay for up to 2 years, whereas the North Star is a little more short term than that. But different programs are meeting different needs.
Yeah, North Star's building a family larger, you transition from a shelter to an apartment that they maintain so that there are places available. That sounds like what you're doing in New Ipswich.
Yes. Yeah, and the women might have a lot of things they're struggling with, so there might be substance issues. They might have a trauma history that they're really working to have healing around, so there can be a number of associated things that sort of go with being homeless.
Teaching how to manage budgets, having
a lot of life skills.
Yeah, a lot of life skills.
Right.
How to cook healthy meals.
It was interesting because the Afghan women spent a lot of time in the kitchen and spent a lot of time cooking. Yeah. And so it was really part of they had gone through trauma, or you wouldn't be displaced and leave your country. And so I think for them, getting to cook their traditional food was a big part of sort of healing from the trauma that they had experienced.
Yeah, we were speaking with Pastor Danny about music being another language. Well, food is a whole other language as well. You can express things with your cooking and with your food that you can't do through words.
And it really allowed them to practice hospitality, which is a big part of their culture. And we could be their guest, as they prepared and served food for us. I remember this one couple, they just kept putting more food on my plate. And I got hungry.
They sound Italian.
Yeah, and finally I was like, I just can't eat anymore. It was so good, but after 6 times of having your plate filled up, you reach a limit.
Yeah, I hear you. So in the last couple minutes that we have, is there anything that you'd want to make sure that you let the audience know about the Pilgrim Covenant Church in Lunenburg?
So I'd say if people are looking for like a small family church, and we're really trying to authentically and genuinely be a Christian church, so we're about the gospel, the good news of God's love, in Jesus, about really trying to grow as disciples, followers, doing outreach, as his disciples, sharing the good news of the gospel with others. So really kind of biblically what's always been seen as the marks of an authentic, genuine church. So you want to be salt and light in the community, but at the same time, we do have unique values as followers of Christ and based in Scripture, which in some places do differ from the culture that we love and serve, but seeking to grow, as followers of Christ.
Very nice. All right, and you can learn more about the events that are happening from the Pilgrim Covenant Facebook page. And is there a website? I assume there's a website.
Yes.
And the website's linked on the Facebook page.
Yes.
And you can find more information there. And your services are generally
10 a.m. on Sunday mornings.
10 a.m. on Sunday. Is that what most church services are?
Probably a lot. That's probably the most common time nowadays, I would say.
10 a.m. on Sunday at the corner of Beale and Chase Street in Lunenburg. All right. Well, thank you, Pastor
Thank you,
Dale,
Sam.
for coming on. It was so great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and thank you for watching at home, watching Discussing Fitchburg Now. You know, we're here on FATV twice a month. If you want to get involved and you want to be on the TV show, why don't you send me a message? You can go to dfn-fatv.org. Would love to showcase your community event or talk about your business in the community. All right, thanks.